Hello and welcome back. I'm Nicole, a cottage witch, and today I'm having an arts and crafts sort of a day. It's delightful. Although I was thinking about, I always default to calling it arts and crafts because I want to call it just art because I'm not a trained artist. I mean, I took a couple of classes in university, but that was like 18 years ago, so let's not think about how long ago that was. But anyhow, I've been on a collage making kick. So I've started doing this again in the last couple of years. And I hadn't really done it for probably about 10 or 15 years before that. I mean, maybe periodically. And then last weekend, I did like 12 hours a day of just making things. It was amazing. Highly recommend. Well, maybe I don't because, you know, I forgot to eat in there and hyperfocus and whatnot. It's great. Anyhow, what I needed was a box. Well, I had a box. I have many boxes because I keep boxes. You never know when you might need a good box. It's like having a cupboard full of jars. It's just one of those witchy things that I do. But I was rotating some stuff off my bookshelves. I don't really have what some people call an altar space because I just don't. I live in a tiny little apartment. But I have bookshelves, and those bookshelves have spaces in and around the books where I put things occasionally. So I was taking some of the wintry stuff off and putting out some of the summer stuff, and decided I needed to decorate the box. So I had fun with that. This is a Sumerian goddess of some sort, I can't remember. Water and tea are important to me for particular reasons. I didn't do the bottom because it's only gonna lie flat like this. It's very full. This is one of the snake goddesses of Manoa? No, I can't remember. That's from a metaphysical shop near me. One of their paper bags. See, this is why I can never throw out anything. It's a problem because I might use it one day. I'm turning into my grandmother. Various plants that have significance to me. This is from the deck, the Wisdom of the Kalia. It was on the paper, so I cut it out and stuck that there. These are actually from an artist who made, what are those decks? Something about a flower, a springy type flowers during the day and then moonflowers at night. She's got a couple of decks and a bunch of journals and planners and stuff, and she made this. And it's gorgeous. And this is, every time I say that word now, I hear April from Feeding My Soul 12/12, which is also delightful. That's 3 trees. It was from a piece of cardboard, I think, on their packaging. And you know, as I don't throw anything out, I made a little box. More potions and plants and books and just things that sort of define my practice generally, and then the wintry odds and ends. So that's what started this whole hullabaloo. And then I made a box for all my other projects, and then several boxes after that. So this, can I open this underneath the camera? Oh, I can. I'm working on my little box of treasures, some ancestor cards. So these are all cards that have papers from my grandparents or their parents or sometimes their grandparents. Well, all sorts of just odds and ends. Newspapers from them and whatnot. These are some other collages, the rune and the herbalism decks, prototypes and whatnot. So this is my box of projects, because I was just having I do like making little collages. Like, I just like little things. They're cute and they're fun and they make me happy. And the world's a dumpster fire, so, you know, I'm rolling with it. But there were stacks of them all over the place, and they were getting a bit chaotic. And, you know, as soon as a stack falls, then I've got cards all over the floor, and you can imagine. So, this is actually from an archaeology magazine, for no particular reason other than I'm perpetually fascinated by the Middle East. This is from a pollinator walk that I do. And so I just collaged around the outside of that and whatnot. This box is too big for this, really. And then I needed some boxes for my supplies, so I kept going. Okay, this one doesn't really count because I just needed a box. Oh, I did cover the barcode on the bottom, but I just needed to indicate that this was the washi tape box of tapes that I never use. Bless their socks. This is the box for textured materials that I collage with, because I do like using a lot of things that aren't paper. So these are obviously paper. That's some sort of ribbon that's shinier when it doesn't have. Did I use the Mod Podge or the gel medium on this one? Oh, I can't remember now. Anyway, tissue paper is always fun. Burlap is one of my favorite things. Some of this paper was from a bookstore in Italy. It's really fun paper. North American paper is very boring. Also, it's very standardized these days. The paper that my grandparents used was way more interesting and varied. They just did all sorts of things pre-standardization. Anyhow, that is my collage supply collection of just all manner of textured, weird things that only sort of closes. This is the box for text. So this, I actually used leftovers mostly from papers from my grandparents. So this is a funny cartoon that I covered the heads up on because they were creepy. From a newspaper in the 50s. An article about trains that my grandpa had. Underwood, which is on the bottom, haha. In a very, what is that, 60s, 70s style? It's very particular, this style. More newspaper. Oh, this is fun. This is, oh, now all of my papers are going to be upside down, but oh well. This is an apron that my grandma had. They just, I don't know. They made things a particular way back when, and it's fascinating to me. And then these are the actual little papers. So I've got maybe I'll show you the cabinet later. But these are the little papers. These were getting, I have a file folder cabinet. And these papers of this size, these are not so bad, but like this, they were just getting lost in the bottom of that. So I needed a box, and I repurposed. So this isn't a tarot deck mod, it's a tarot deck box mod. Because this was from the Tarot Archery, and it's all blue and yellow flowers now. Yeah, whoops, sliding out the edges. Oh well. There are some things that would need like keywords if it was for anybody else. So like this is a Northwest Mounted Police insignia, which I wouldn't ordinarily go in for because they were created to clear indigenous people off the prairies to make way for settlers, and they were very brutal about it. And then I stuck just a little blue book in the middle to indicate to me the importance of learning your history, first of all, so you know what happened, and then learning about other ways that it can be. That's that. These are funny bees with just, this was plain with color mostly, but the bees made me laugh with their gas masks. All right. And then this was also this is for the slightly bigger scraps of paper, like this size. Scraps and hullabaloo. From the Witch Sisters, obviously. This is a recipe that my grandma had cut out of a newspaper. This is from one of the envelopes from 1951, apparently, that my grandparents had. So I was using up leftover little bits, and ooh, that needs to get glued back on, that my grandpa had used. So that was a pay stub from him in the 40s. 1954. That's what it is, a T4 stub. And then I got various maps and full. So this was a combination of some of the newer magazine photos I've got and the older bits from my grandparents that I was using up and puttering away with. So yeah, that was a bit of fun. Oh, I forgot to mention the thing that inspired this weekend was last week I got these decks, which I've talked about, I think, on a video at some point. Whether it's up or not yet, I don't know. I think it is. Anyway, I'm losing my mind. Daydreaming in situ. by Annie Farrar. I don't know if that's how you say situ, that's just how we always said it in opera. So that's how I say it, but I don't know if that's right. But this has given me a lot of inspiration for play, just how she does the backgrounds and everything with things of a certain color palette. I've never done that before. So I was playing with that in a notebook this weekend, which I will get to in a second. And then the Scarab and Dahlia Tarot, which I've seen on the Mad Witch's channel, and she is one of my perpetual inspirations for creative things of all sorts, as is Candy, both of whom I'll link down below, because so I've got notebooks out, well, sketchbooks, workbooks, I don't know. Do you call it a sketchbook if it's collage? See, I have no idea. I'm just making stuff up as I go. So basically, ignore the front, it's not done yet. I'm playing with it, and this does not take glue very well, or at least the glue that I have, so it's a work in progress. Anyway, I think Giselle actually had done this, not this, something vaguely akin to this with a cookbook, but I know I've seen Candy do, like, take children's books and things and modify them and draw in them and all sorts of fascinating things, and I thought I should do that, so I'm doing that. So nothing in here is done, this is just background prep. This is something that my grandma gave me. It's a Mennonite cookbook from Saskatchewan, so just more background, just gluing things in for the background, other pieces that aren't glued in yet, etc. So I'm just playing with that. Oh, these are the Annie Farrar inspired playing around. These were the triangle shapes, and these were with, is that even in the middle? No, it isn't. There we go. More squares and whatever the shape is called. It's been a long time since I took geometry, okay? And I just wanted to see what effects you get with different shapes and also with different color combinations, like some of the colors have words on them in different colors, so that was interesting. So yeah, and I've taken a couple. This was my early experiments with watercolor washes, because I don't know what I'm doing with watercolors yet, still don't. But I just muck about a bit. And so these aren't actually, that needs to get glued back on. So these aren't actually anything final, they were just like an experiment, and I thought I'll use them as a background of a collage or something. So I'm not starting with a white piece of paper, or in this case, a recipe book piece of paper. Canned fish, that sounds like some of these recipes are fantastic. Some of them are an abomination. The 1950s really do have a lot to answer for in terms of the recipes it produced. And a lot of the people who wrote this cookbook were my grandma's age. And she would be, if she was still alive, she'd be 95, I think. The other thing I started, do I have it? Oh yeah, so I've got, it's chaos in my living room right now. My desk that I'm on now is my dining table, my work table, and my crafty table. And it's just a little IKEA table, so everything has to be contained, hence the boxes of things. This is current projects. I needed a way to keep all of the papers that I'd selected for certain, so these are my grandparents' old papers for certain projects sorted. Well, I got distracted and was working on other projects, because that happens a lot. Oh, this snap is funny. I just got this very recently. If I figure out how to glue things on that other plastic cover, I'll probably collage this at some point. And then this is a notebook that I started puttering away at. I tend to, every now and again, I'll break up the charcoals, because they're fun, but they do make a mess. Color blending, very boring. Okay, so I was on, what's her name? One second. Orla Stevens, that's her account. So I'll link her down below too. Orla Stevens has a bunch of fascinating videos. So I've been down a rabbit hole of watching the last like 2 years worth of her videos. They're fantastic. There's collage in there somewhere, there's other painting and whatnot. And basically what she had done was this exercise, which you take something that you're going to paint. She does a lot of landscapes, which is very cool. It's my favorite thing. I love landscape. And then you set a timer for a certain amount of minutes, and then, or seconds even, and draw something. So this was the 30-minute one. That's a poppy leaf. And then 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and 15 seconds. And then these were a couple other things that she didn't do, but she sort of, well, she does abstract landscapes. So this was my abstract line one, and this was the taking out space in a more cubist style one, which was fun. And then, oh yeah, I had something else started back here that's not finished. Other thing, yeah, that's actually from a theater, notes and what, it's not all in order, because, you know, chaos. But I think I'll do a bunch more of those, because I've got this whole book full of, like, violets and whatever the heck kind of leaf that is. I don't actually know the answer to that. That is an orchid, and not sure. More violets, well, pansies. Close enough. What's that? Is that a pea flower? It might be. More orchid leaves. These are the most incredible leaves. They are thinner. They're like half the width of tissue paper, maybe a third. They are so thin and delicate and gorgeous. There's my angel voice again. I love it. She also did some collage stuff recently, or some like mixed media type stuff with, what was it called? Witch's Blackland, which was also very fun, and I may have to take a page out of her book. Anyhow, different angle. This is the rest of the chaos. So every time I get on a collage kick, I make a mess of my living room, and then I have these brilliant ideas for how to organize my living room, because I have a tiny apartment, and this rolls under the desk that I was just at, which is over here. Boxes, desk, work computer is behind the boxes at the moment, because it's my dining room table. So I usually have my sewing supplies down there, more boxes to be collaged. Stuff on a loom I haven't touched since November, because there are too many crafty things to do, is the problem. Quilt that I quilted, I haven't quilted in a long time. Ignore the upholstery. It was cheap upholstery fabric that I bought during the pandemic, and it's terrible. But I'm never upholstering anything again. That is so much work. Also, you would not believe the amount of dust you find in a couch that hasn't been reupholstered in over a decade. It is astonishing. Anyhow, tangent. So I've started attaching things to the side for extra storage space. Cardboard boxes for gluing things on. A couple of books that don't fit anywhere else. Oh yeah, this I collaged too. I took one of Gauguin's paintings out here. Heresy. I know. Whoops. And collaged this and glued these two together. And then, ooh, yeah, I forgot about this box. This box doesn't have a use yet, does it? No, it doesn't. But this is a tin of tobacco from at least the 40s, maybe the 30s. It's because it was discontinued in the 40s. So I think it's from the 30s that my grandpa kept pay stubs in. So I collaged that. Don't know what I'll do with it yet. Oh yeah, this box I collaged too. I was just like, I'll collage all the boxes. Okay, this was playing with paper from this book of textiles from India, which is fascinating just all by itself. So I'm reading through the book as I disassemble the book. Apologies to the book. These are also from tarot card boxes. I salvaged those. Couple of books and an accidental knockoff deck that I got that I might use in a collage at one point. Oh, this is what's her name's journal thing. What is her name? Katie Daisy. So I've taken some bits of that. This is what I used for that triangle Annie Farrar inspired collage. I basically made myself little palettes of color that were chopped up. Yes, that's a Rice Krispie box. That's a dog food ad, I think. I don't know. I'm using, for this is the paper that I wouldn't use for other stuff. That's just colors and needs a place. These are just cards that I may collage on someday. This is stickers, cards that I'm going to collage on at some point. ice cream pail lids because I never get this size anymore, but they're handy. Hardboard, other blank tarot cards to collage on. A tin to collage, extra glue, bookbinding stuff. And then this is where all the paper goes for my collage stuff. So I finally got it organized. This was part of this weekend's project when I was madly collaging things going, I don't know what's in every folder. So I have all these folders, but I couldn't for the life of me remember that this one is plant magazines, Nat Geo, and also like archaeology and whatever, like anything in that sort of vein, Scientific American. What's the next one? Modern magazines, old papers, textured papers, stickers, text, a couple books, a bunch of magazines, things that will get chopped up eventually. So that's exciting. So now I have a nice organized crafty area. Well, sort of crafty area. It just slides under this table. Sorry for the camera work. It's very shoddy. I will fire the camera person immediately. And on that note, I think that's all I've got for today. I just had a heck of a day at work and felt like talking about arts and crafts and the people who've inspired me to do more of them lately. So I'll link them below, but you should definitely check out their channels. They're fantastic. I mean, probably everybody's heard of them, but if you haven't, are you living under a rock? They're excellent. Anyway, I'm gonna go cut out some paper or something for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.